What is your wildest overseas story? Like, if you were to tell somebody, like, look, you don't understand what it's like playing overseas, what's the wildest thing that's happened to you overseas?
Uh, it was when I was Kenya, where we drove all the way to Belgrade. I think we was playing in a Champions League game. I forgot against who. Uh, it was it was Limoges. Yeah, we was playing against Limoges, French team. And this was the year after COVID. Like, so COVID still exists. It still exists now, but like it was still on high edge, where they were shutting down countries. And France was shut down. Like, they shut down France a little bit. And but we had a Champions League game. And so like it's maybe like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We get to the airport because I think our flight leaves at 7 in the morning. But we get there 2.5 hours before. And there's that the French embassy needed, like, for us to get through France. And like the people at the flight attendants, like, that check us in, like, they're like, do you have this document? And then our our manager, he's like, no, like, this is all, like, they only told us we needed this, blah blah blah. And he was like, well, no, you need this document in order to even go to the border. He's like, no, like, we, like, this is what they told us, we got this, blah blah blah. Like, so basically they're like, well, sorry sir, we can't do nothing about it, basically. So like our manager is like, okay, so he's trying to call the French people, like Limoges team, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Me and my teammates laughing, like, who's just gonna pick up their phone at 4 o'clock in the morning, like, to get you a piece of paper that you need, blah blah blah. That happened, nothing happened. So we had to change our flight uh from Belgrade, to like a 5 o'clock flight because we had to get these documents signed and whatever and sent back to us. So like our flight was at 5. We had a connecting flight through Vienna to Paris. So we flew from Belgrade to Vienna to Paris, and then had another 3 hour or 2 hour bus ride to Limoges. And then so we didn't end up getting to Limoges until I think 4 o'clock in the morning. And we played that day at 7 o'clock. So like imagine like you getting to Chicago here, let's just, or the airport in DC a day before. Like, okay, you got there at 6 o'clock p.m. Your flight's supposed to be at 8. Basically, they're like, you don't have your ID. So like the only way you can get your ID is like through the DMV. And they're like, well, they'll open until tomorrow at 8. So you have to stay at your airport all the way to 8 in the morning, have them look at to getting you a new ID, and then uh them making you a new ID. Then the next available flight isn't until 5 o'clock the next day. And then now you have to wait till 5 to get to that flight. And then you have connecting flight through Chicago to get to LA. And then you gotta go to Chicago, layover for 3 hours, leave Chicago at 8 o'clock, and then go to LA, which is another 4 hour flight. And then you don't get to LA until like midnight. And then it's like you had this whole travel. Like, that was probably the craziest thing that I ever had to go through. And it was funny because it's like, what am I really doing? I'm like, what is going on right now? And then we still almost win that game. I think
Wow,
I had
that was going to
17.
be my next question: is how did the game turn out? So, I mean, the
I
fact that it was a loss doesn't surprise me, but the fact it was close actually that says something. That's good.
I had 17. I think I had 17-8. Uh, and we lost by 4. Like it was like the jet lag and like the airplane just kind of caught up to us that last 2 minutes. You know, it was a struggle, but we just mentally couldn't pull it out as we did the other games.
Hello, and thanks for watching. Be sure to give the video a like, and you can watch more videos over here. You can also click subscribe over here so you're notified when we have new content here on Expat Hoops.